Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you so much for being willing to be interviewed and discuss what it's been like to have therapy with me. And I really appreciate it. I just want to confirm that you have not been paid for this. This is just something that you're willing to do to create positive influences in other people's lives as well.
Yes, correct.
Excellent. Well, I suppose what I'd really like to ask is what brought you to therapy in the first place when you started reaching out to get some support?
Um, I've had a pretty much a challenging upbringing where I guess communication wasn't really a strong point in my family. So that pretty much trickled into a lot of my intimate relationships where I couldn't really monitor my emotions or understand my value and what I brought to a relationship. And also it was a bit tricky for me to be able to communicate within a relationship as well. So I was definitely looking for some help for work on me, but also for me and my partner so we could grow together.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what was some of the main issues that were presenting between the two of you?
We had challenges with definitely boundaries between each other. Also, jealousy tends to be definitely one that we had a bit of problems with. Communication was our biggest. Communication was our biggest for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So jealousy played in with trust and feeling safe inside of your interactions with other people. Yeah. And so what happened for the two of you? Did that result in a lot of conflict, or were you ignoring each other, or how did you navigate that prior to therapy?
Both of us came from very different backgrounds, different nationalities, and still both challenging home life as kids. So as we kind of met in this space, it made it really tricky for one another to trust each other. From our past relationships might not have been ideal, and not having these skills that obviously we both now have and able to communicate through therapy. It was really quite hard to navigate for both of us, and it caused a lot of unwelcoming emotions like anger, frustration towards one another, fighting, and it wasn't like the best kind of
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of struggle there around how you're interacting. There was a lot of love between the two of you, and a lot of passion and compassion and empathy towards one another. Real desire to be together, but all of your family of origin stuff was really triggering up and reflecting into the relationship. So I suppose through the work that we did, were you able to identify that it wasn't so much personal, it was the histories of each partner meeting up and all of the trauma or the pain or any of those issues? What did you learn about through individual work prior to couples work?
Individual work, yeah. It's you definitely I took on all of hers, and she probably did the same to me, because we never understood what boundaries were until we sat with you and worked through them, where once you place boundaries, this is my stuff and this is my stuff that I need to work on to be able to meet you in the center and hold space together. And we were unconscious to that. We've never really heard about this language before, or this process of communication and understanding together. So individual work definitely was a starting point for both of us, but then coming together and working through some of the things and lenses that we've kind of worked through with you have been really amazing. Yeah.
Excellent. You mentioned earlier exploration around your value, and you got to connect to your value. What does that mean for you now?
I feel like I'm not lost in the relationship, which is nice. We now meet as individuals coming together as one instead of all together mixed up, not sure where we are. So your values for me, I don't know, I was really lost, but now I feel so solid and grounded, and I can trust myself, and I own everything that I am. And I think meeting one another on this different field, energetic fields, is really quite incredible.
Beautiful. So by connecting to your value and understanding your value system, your internal value connected you to your worth, and through that you're able to create a boundary around the identity instead of having a codependent construct of competing over whose needs are more important or whose feelings or who caused someone to feel something. There was the value to be able to hold your own autonomy and interact inside of this safe space between the two of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kat. Yeah.
That's my job.
Exactly. Amazing. It's exactly what happened. Yeah.
So how do you think doing that work with your values and to find value for yourself inside of the relationship helped build trust for you inside of, you said trust or jealousy was an issue. So how did that shift that for you?
Well, you have to learn to trust yourself. That's what was one of my biggest challenges, was trusting yourself and owning all that you are and meeting someone in that playing field. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain, kind of.
It is hard to explain when we're not deep diving inside of the session and we're not unpicking and untangling people. But yeah, it is. I really noticed your ability to be able to connect to your value, and there through that connect to a relationship of self-trust and creating safety within inside of yourself instead of looking for the other person to be the resource of safety.
Yeah, it is. That's the whole journey, is working within yourself and understanding that you don't have to be all these things for that person if they haven't done their work. Like, you have to be your own safety, be your own security, be your own person to come home to, and still be okay with whatever outcome it may be.
Yeah, beautiful. So what kind of things did you action in the relationship? You're talking about the things that you learned. So you learned boundaries, communication, value. When you say self-trust, there's esteem and attachment, like your secure attachment. You became safe inside of yourself, inside of the relationship. So they're the things that you've learned. How did we learn to practice actioning those outside of therapy, like in the real world?
Yeah. Real world, yes, that's where all your true teachings are. I never was really big on meditation until you got me on meditation, but that was really quite amazing. That would help me try and monitor my own emotions and not project them onto my partner when I felt maybe insecure or a little upset, frustrated. These are my emotions, and I really learned how to watch that energy move around my body and just pull it back, because once we're calm, then we can communicate clearly and what we need and listen to them as well. So definitely there was a lot of self-work there.
So beautiful. I mean, that's probably one of the core teachings of mine, is to regulate, to communicate, and how, working with, instead of rejecting the emotion, being able to hold space for your emotion and see it as the gift that it is, but owning it for yourself, and then being able to use that to set boundaries or communicate a need, or, even as a catalyst for growth. So yeah, it is that sitting with the emotion, taking care of it, breathing with it, and then from that point, once you're soothed, being able to communicate. I love hearing when people frame back the work that works. And so, Yeah,
it does seem like super overwhelming, but you just got to give it your all. And it's all about monitoring those emotions. Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. So how did you learn to navigate conflict differently through the work that we did?
Stillness and listening. Like, in a relationship, everyone says, oh, you need to listen, but it's actually one of the key components is sitting still, monitoring your emotions and listening to what they're saying, and then be conscious enough to watch the reaction inside before you speak. I think.
Just gave me goosebumps. Yeah, that really is that work, isn't it? It's that active listening and being able to actually, instead of wanting to jump in or defend or deflect or project what's the discomfort that is inside you, we've worked to sit and hold space, being able to really actively listening about what's happening for the other person, and just allow that to happen for them and take care, hold space for them inside of it, and vice versa. And so how has that helped inside of conflict for you, those skills?
I'm a lot more non-reactive, and before the work with you, I was governed by a lot of anger, frustration. So learning these particular skills have just made me a calmer person, and I love to be able to sit and watch it when it's not mine. It's kind of nice, like sit, hold space, here's a boundary, I'm here with lots of love, and I will listen, but the emotions that are being projected onto me, they're not mine, and it's nice to hold space. It's very still inside of me now. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. It sounds peaceful. It's different.
It is. Woo! It is
different from anger. So what you were feeling and now what you are feeling, such a different space.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like you have more scope and more space inside of you to be able to be steady and still inside of whatever you're exposed to.
Yeah, and also I guess like show up for my partner with what they need now. I'm more conscious and strong and focused and can like regulate my emotions, which I think all these things are definitely something that can help a relationship grow, and it has.
Oh, beautiful. Do you when you first come into therapy, a lot of my clients will feel overwhelmed or anxious, nervous, hopeless, at their wits' end, infuriated. So they come at this point and the whole process can be quite daunting at the beginning. But when you actually did do the practice, how did you find the skills that you were taught or the processes that we went through? How did you find them?
Yeah, you're a very approachable person, Kat. Extremely approachable. And the work should never be overwhelming, as long as you just show up and just take a couple of breaths and just take one step at a time and take it all in. It's not overwhelming at all. And what can come from it is like incredible happiness. Like it's worth doing the work for, always.
Beautiful. So would you say it was easier than you thought or harder? I mean, it's a challenging because doing the work can be quite, owning your stuff and owning your emotions is quite uncomfortable to begin with. But once you actually resource yourself through those skills, would you say that you think it was easier, or, is staying in the mess easier?
No, never stay in the mess. It's extremely empowering as an individual and as a couple to be able to understand each other on such a different frequency to what you walked in all frustrated and uneasy to what we stand now. It is just, of course, do it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's very empowering.
So what I heard just then is that you really are able to see your partner from a different perspective now, and that there's a greater understanding that you developed through therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not be this person without it. We wouldn't be where we are without it. Yes, do the work always.
Yeah, woman after my own heart. Always do the work. When we do the work, we get the rewards.
Yeah, and the rewards. There's no price. There's no price on that. It's we live one life.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me today and sharing your story and sharing your growth. I really appreciate it. It takes a lot of vulnerability to kind of be seen like this. So thank you.
You're very welcome, Kat. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks very much. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.